What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Now, today on the table in front of us, I have something really fun to show you. Today is Monday, the 6th of July of 2020. I hope everyone is safe and healthy and well out there. It has been a crazy year, hasn't it? But one of the cool things that has happened throughout this year is that I have watched the progress of Cutlery Lover, who, by the way, his name is Jeff. Jeff runs a channel called Cutlery Lover. It is a fantastic YouTube channel. If you are not subscribed over there, you should go check it out. I'll put a link in the description. It is one of the channels I watched long before I ever even thought about having a channel of my own. He does knife reviews, food reviews, EDC gear reviews, fishing. His channel is, well, it's very, very cool, and I hope you check it out. About a year ago, he designed a fixed blade with the company Bastion. And I missed that. So 6 months ago or so, when he started talking about making a folding knife, I decided I was not going to miss it. And this arrived today. This is the Cutlery Lover Swordtail made by Bastion. And I am really impressed. As you can see, it is an integral knife. It is all titanium. It is S35 VN. It has a really interesting shape to it, swordtail. It has a little bit of a fish thing going on. He's a big fisherman, which explains that. I love this knife. Once again, if you guys haven't gone to his channel, go do that now. Let's talk about swordtail. It is S35 VN. It is running on bearings. It is all titanium, as I mentioned. It is, in fact, an integral knife. It is, well, it's beautiful. It really is beautiful to look at. It is not a massively complicated knife design, and I like that, actually. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about this knife when I was even purchasing it. I bought it to support Jeff over at Cutlery Lover. But now that it's here, I dig it. This is clearly a user-designed knife, and what I mean by that is somebody who uses a lot of knives went ahead and thought, what is it that I really enjoy in a knife, and how do I put that into a knife that I would want to own and get that made? And this is that knife all the way around. This one happens to be number 6 of 120. That is the total build as far as I know. I'm not putting this out there because I'm going to suggest that you run out and get one. I don't think you can. I'm putting this out there because I think it's cool, and I'm glad that I got one. There is his logo. I'm not sure that's going to show up on my camera because my camera is giving me a hard time lately. Right here on the blade, along with the knife number on the back side, is a signature. And right across the spine of the blade, it says S35 VN because that is the blade material. This knife is much bigger than I thought it was going to be. I don't know why. It's typical. You read the specs, it doesn't really help you understand how big a knife is going to be until it lands in your hand. You guys know I've got big old meat hooks. This is a full-size knife. It's got a nice little landing platform right here, sort of a 3/4 choil that you can get your finger up onto if you want to do fine work. The blade is a drop point, high flat grind. It comes to a very, very nice edge, so you can get forward for draw cuts very easily. It is, I'm assuming, as I haven't had a chance to work with it yet, really good for push cuts. And because of the way it's designed, if you find yourself in a gas station altercation, perhaps on the way to your favorite fishing hole, this thing will not let you down based on its shape. It is very, very stabby. I love it. I really do. Let's go ahead and get the basic specs out of the way. The blade is 1, 2, 3, 4. I know how to count. Let's try that again. The blade is 1, 2, 3, and 3/4 inches of cutting, right, on 4 inches of S35 VN. It's been a very long day. The grip area from behind the flipper tab is 1, 2, 3, 4, a little over 4.5. Of course, if you use this forward choil, you're going to get even more. You're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 inches of grippable area on this knife. And because of the way it's designed, with this great swell down here, the spot up here catches your finger, right? The rest of it just seats itself into your palm really well. This is a really interesting design. And of course, because it is integral, it is very clean, right? No screws. It's integral, there wouldn't be. No messing around. I am really enjoying the look of this knife. Let's talk about the pocket clip. The pocket clip is not deep carry, and I don't have anything good handy. I hate when I do that to show, but we'll do the old thumb thing. Yeah, you get 3/4 of an inch of the knife sticking out the top on this pocket clip. I understand why. It is a very long, relatively thin knife. I think he probably wanted to give you something to grab onto as you pulled it out of pocket. I, of course, would have preferred to do without the lanyard hole and have the pocket clip right all the way up to the end. But nobody asked me, and that's okay. The pocket clip itself is beautiful. It is milled titanium. It has a little bit of milling across the top here for an aesthetic choice. It has wonderful ramp and great spring. I have pushed this thing in and out of my pocket a bunch of times. It is a very comfortable carry. The flipper tab has just a little jimping, which is more than enough. You get good grip. It is a little pokey, but not sharp. So although this will, impact the things that you have in your pocket, it's not sharp. It's not going to do them any obvious damage unless you're really slapping it against them. The overall shape is very, very clean. I love the way they milled out the titanium here for the lock bar. It does, of course, have a hardened steel insert. And the action is, right out of the box, very good. It is very nicely done. Of course, on camera I'm going to bounce it. But my point is that it just sort of swings shut with a little bit of wiggle. I think that once I have used it a little bit and lubricated it, because even though it came with a film of protective oil on the blade, it sounds to me like the bearings are super dry. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this with some pivot lube. And my guess is that it will smooth right out. The opening action is, without question, superb. I love when somebody who has a real passion for knives jumps in and decides to make one. This is just that kind of knife. Let's do some size comparison stuff just for fun. Here it is against the Rat Model 1. Now the Rat 1 is, for most people, a large knife, and the Swordtail here is considerably bigger, which I didn't know, and I'm very glad to find out because I love big knives. Let's do the full length. I apologize. I always forget to do that. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 1/4 inches long. This is a full-size knife. Here it is against our old friend the Bug Out, just because that's for fun. Yeah, right. This is just a very large knife, and I am down with that. I want to point out again, the way it is designed, the blade closes entirely into the frame. So even though it is a big knife, it's not bulky. It is integral, but it is not thick. They milled this thing down to really nice specs. The distance between the blade and the scales is super tight. This is a well-made, well-sorted pocket knife for sure. Let's find out how much it weighs. Shall we? The Swordtail comes in at 5.8 ounces. Now, that sounds like a lot, but when you consider how big this thing is, coming in a little over 9 inches, and the fact that because it is integral, they couldn't really mill out the inside. They did some milling here to give this flex, but these are just slabs of titanium. This is one singular slab of titanium. They did punch it out a little bit here. These holes do go all the way through, which you can see. But I think that's about all you can do on an integral to really make it lighter, and they did what they could. I want to say again, this knife is super comfortable to hold. You can feel the clip a little bit, but I wouldn't call it a hot spot because of where it lands in the hand. This is a really nice knife. Jeff, you done good. He doesn't need my approval, but I'm giving it anyway. let's go ahead and find out how much S35VN you get. Looks like a fairly good chunk. Yep, it is 3.5 millimeters of S35VN through the handle. It is just at, let's get it there, just right at, 12 millimeters, which is 0.4 of an inch. So it is less than half an inch through the handle here. It is really nicely done. I hope he designs more knives. I don't know how successful he thinks this was. We're not friends. He didn't ask me to do this or anything. I bought this because I'm a knife lover. I'm a fan. And I very much wanted to get this knife. And of course, that I get to support a very cool channel helps a lot. These will pop up on the secondary market. Knives like this always do. I don't know how much they will go for. I do know that if you are looking for a unique and interesting integral pocket knife designed by someone right here in our own community, if you find a way to get your hands on one of these Cutlery Lover Swordtails made by Bastion knives, I really suggest that you make that happen. I'm glad I got one. I hope you've enjoyed this look. I know I've enjoyed adding this to the collection. You know, I may do a use review down the road a little bit just to see how it holds up over time. I may not. This is just a part of the collection now. Thank you so much for watching. I have really enjoyed sharing this with you. I hope you guys are having a good and safe day. We'll see you next time.